I didn't know we were... Oh, we are literally starting. I thought we were going to talk about it.
No, we were just going to start.
Oh.
But also, for some reason, when your mic is off, it shows nothing. Because if you turn your mic off right now, because it was just off a second ago, it's... I feel like my jack is... And it's recording.
Hey.
Because sometimes when I go back and edit, you can hear me. Even when it's flat like that. At least I hope. You're here. I'm here. I don't know. Just worried about it now.
That's weird. I was like, oh, I'm going to divinate. No, we're talking about transits, but I am divinating.
Yeah, go divinate.
Quietly
shuffling with tarot cards in the background. Don't mind us. Hi, Jaded Army. Welcome to Virgo season. We are going to talk about transits, Virgo's attributes, and what we feel and what we know about Virgo in real time.
Yeah.
Hi, Loki.
Well... Two of Pentacles.
Anyways, back to Virgo season. Don't mind the divination happening.
Okay.
Virgo season, every zodiac season starts out with the new moon in that zodiac season. If you did not know that, now you do. I will link some very good resources that I have below, and I suggest that you read these books, buy these books, look at these books, borrow them on Kindle Unlimited. Virgo season starts August 22nd to September 22nd. The new moon is on September 2nd on Virgo season. New moons are the start of a cycle. Also, on September 2nd, we come out of one of the Mercury retrogrades, which is great because Mercury retrograde, I told you.
No.
Mercury retrograde has been feeling it, huh?
Mercury retrograde has been retrograding, and I've been trying to be very careful.
Yes.
During this time.
Some people told me they just didn't even do rituals or spell work, period, because of Mercury retrograde.
Now, when did Mercury retrograde start again?
I don't remember.
The 4th, right?
Maybe. It was a short retrograde. Mercury retrograde isn't really that long.
Yeah.
Every time it happens, it's
about a month.
But people really feel it because Mercury is in charge of communication, technology, and people really notice the difference. But we're coming out of Mercury retrograde the same day that we have our new moon, so starting a new cycle. We will have continued retrogrades going on this season, because for the rest of 2024, we have retrogrades happening. So we're not, but don't be worried about it. Just take your self-break, pencil in self-care, check in with yourself. Make sure that you are not focused on everybody else right now and just focus on your internal stuff. Mars will move into Cancer on the 4th of September, and then Mercury will be moving into the sign of Virgo, which it loves being there because Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Yes.
On the 9th.
Yep. Sorry if I'm quiet over here.
Then we have our full moon on the 17th of September. Full moon is all about releasing. Some people do, release work and manifesting work on every moon cycle. It's personal to you if you do that. That's Hermes. These cards are cardsing. She's over there doing divination, and I'm confused at what's happening because there's so many happening. So anyways, Virgo is a sign that is polarity, negative, receptive, feminine. Planetary ruler is Mercury. We just said that. Modality is mutable. Motto is I analyze. Element is earth. Keywords are service, humility, discipline, critical thinking, discernment. Haha, feeds back in.
Yeah.
So why we had to do that episode we just did. Healing.
Look at this.
I know.
You said discernment. This came out like this.
Yeah, because people are not discerning. Healing, detail-oriented, and organization. I am a Mercury rising. What does that mean? Well, you can see that come through in the podcast very hard with my linking and all of that stuff that I do. I feel like Mercury rising, Virgo, I can't even word. Virgo rising people with very heavy Virgo in their chart. Virgo would be Ravenclaw in Hogwarts. And all the Ravenclaws are lawyers.
Oh.
Or they're really good criminals.
Or they're doctors, intellectuals, professors. Come on now.
But they put in that work.
No, wait, no.
They put in that
That's
work.
like saying all Slytherin are evil.
No, but they put in that work, though.
Yeah.
They got the checklist. One thing about Virgo is they got the clipboard.
They do.
So, what do you want to say about Virgo?
I really... What do you want me to say about Virgo? I have some constellation stories.
Well,
I just got confirmation that just fine to just share both of them.
yeah.
Well, there's obviously there's multiple, but there's no like real story for some. They're just, you know. So Virgo, funny thing about the term Virgo, it hasn't always meant a woman who has never had sexual intercourse. Virgin has not always meant that. But Virgo derives from the word virgin. So Virgo is the virgin. Virgin has, it used to mean a long time ago, in biblical times and before, that it's a complete woman on her own. So a complete woman on her own was what was considered a virgin. So Virgo derives from the word virgin. They have the same root word, etc. Like they mean the same. You know, Virgo means virgin, which is pretty interesting. And so there's a bunch of theories about the Virgo constellation and who Virgo is associated with. And you know, a lot of the constellation stories come from Greek mythology. Essentially, there's a Roman version, or you know, there's other cultures that have other constellations and use the same constellations for different meanings and things like that. But we're leaning in on Greek right now today.
And Roman.
Greek and Roman, yes, because we actually have a couple of stories, and the Greek and Roman one is just very similar because their name for the goddess associated with Virgo is, the Roman is Dike and the Greek is Astraea. So they're essentially the same entity under a different name type deal. Also, Virgo's heavily associated with Libra. The Virgo constellation is holding up the Libra scales. So, I know I'm like doing the hand motion. You can't see me, but that's okay. So it's two separate constellations, but they're connected, you know? And of course, they're directly next to each other on the ring of zodiac. So it makes sense that they're connected. Also, there's multiple stories. So even just in the Greek myth, there's possibility that Persephone or Demeter is associated with Virgo, and other fertile goddesses of like the land. Like Demeter's the goddess of the harvest, and Persephone the goddess of spring. And for a long time, Demeter was like protecting Persephone's innocence and quote unquote virginity or wholeness as a woman for a very long time before she was abducted by Hades. So for instance, that's one idea about that. Also, we have the story of Astraea. So Astraea was here during the Golden Age, which she was the last primordial goddesses to be living amongst the mortals. And she lived here when everyone was at peace, and everyone in the Golden Age, it was said that man would grow old and die in their sleep peacefully without pain, and they never suffered, and they lived for a really, really, really long time before they passed, hundreds of years. That's the legend, as so it goes, right? And that legend is across the board in many religions. That golden age is kind of like touched on in many beliefs and religions, so particularly Christianity as well. But so it's believed that was like that. And then we had the Iron Age and the Bronze Age. And so the Iron Age was like where like sin and all this stuff started to be incorporated. So people started rebelling against the gods and goddesses. They weren't worshiping. They weren't doing sacrifices. They weren't doing the right thing. They were murdering. They started doing really bad things, and they weren't living in alignment with what's good anymore. And Astrea, being a justice deity, she didn't like the way the world was headed, so she left. And to be quite frank, she didn't like the way the gods and goddesses in Olympus were either. So she just retreated completely and became a constellation in the sky. Because when you're talking about morals and justice and things like that, you're not always necessarily thinking of the Greek the Greek deities. They all have their own personal moral compasses and agendas that they follow, and Astrea was all about the goodness. So she didn't want to be around anything evil or impure or sinful, essentially. So that's why she turned herself into a constellation. That's one story. Another story is about a man named Icarius. And Icarius was a very devout follower of Dionysus. And he would very much worship him very well. He was he owned a lot of land, and he had farmers who worked for him and things like that, and he worshipped Dionysus. And one day Dionysus bestowed upon him a gift of this very potent wine. Now this wine was God wine, not human wine. So it wasn't made for humans, but Dionysus wasn't really thinking that it was going to hurt anyone. He was trying to do something nice for one of his loyal followers. And because Icarius was so appreciative of his farmhands and his shepherds, he shared the wine with them. Now this was the same wine that made Hercules go crazy and kill his family. So just to preface that the story is about to get ugly. So the farm workers all thought that they all started to go insane, and they thought that Icarius had poisoned them. And so they beat him to death, basically, and which is really horrifying. And so later that day, after they had beaten him to death, his daughter Aragone and their dog, their loving dog, what was the dog's name? The dog has a name, but I don't think the name is that important. But Aragony and the dog, the beloved dog, come home to see her. She comes home to see her father, Ikarius, dead, beaten to death. And she was so devastated that she hung herself. And the dog was so devastated that he jumped into a well and died. And then Dionysus came, and he was so distraught and upset at what had happened, and he felt at fault for it, and he felt a lot of shame and guilt. So he wanted to make it right any way that he could. And so in order to honor the families, to punish the people who killed Ikarius, I think he made them all go crazy and unalive themselves. So that's fun. And then to honor the families, the family that passed away, he turned them all into constellations. Ikarius is some constellation I can't think of off the top of my head. But he turned Aragny into Virgo, and the dog into Canine Minor or something like
Canis
Major, something like that. Canis Major or Minor, one of those two. Anyways, so that's another story that I found really interesting when I was looking into it. And so who knows which is which.
Yep. And the stories are a little different if you look at Roman mythology compared to Greek. The goddesses work similarly, but they're not the same.
They do work similar, but they're not the same. But they literally do attach them as the same. Like, a lot of people do consider the Roman pantheon and the Greek pantheon to be exactly the same. Just the Romans see a different aspect of those deities and worship in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As a person that's done psychic readings and met different energies, they're not exactly the same. UPG. Yeah, you could work with Venus, but you could also work with Aphrodite, but they're not the same person. It's like I view them as cousins.
Well, even the Greeks and Romans view them as the same. They just see them as like
different aspects.
Yeah. Or they see a different aspect about them based on their personal culture. But everybody thinks different about it. Some people think that all of the deities in every religion are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And connected.
And look, everybody
can
traits. Believe their own beliefs, but personally, Met energy, not the same. UPG, like I said, if you want to believe the same thing that I believe, cool. If not, that's cool too. I don't come on here to argue with you.
Right, exactly.
Don't come in here to argue with me. We can be friends.
Exactly. So it's a personal journey. Spirituality is a personal journey, just in general.
Any tidbits about Virgos in general?
So Virgos are very organized.
Or disorganized.
But generally speaking, they prefer an organized environment. Most people do, but that's, not to the same degree that a Virgo does. They're hardworking, detail-oriented.
Very.
And
checklists, graphs.
Yeah. And their negative qualities are they can be
overanalyzing.
Loose cannons. They can overanalyze, overthink things. a number
Yeah.
of different things.
Yeah.
And then depending on where a Virgo is
In
placed
your
in your
chart,
chart too,
it's
makes
different.
a difference.
Yeah. When people meet me, they can see the Virgo because I'm a Virgo rising. But also, we all have Virgo on our chart, but it depends on where it's at for how much it affects your personality and
Right.
affects what people see or affects things you need to work on specifically. You know, astrology is very in depth to the person, especially when you're looking at natal charts. Every sign has good and bad qualities. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, every sign has good and bad qualities. Every sign has shadow aspects, we should say.
yes, that's good wording for that. Yes, it is.
Shadow aspects for sure. And of course, like if you're that sign, you're not gonna have all of the shadow aspects or all of the good
Aspects
or even all of the neutral aspects.
Exactly.
Because there's neutral aspects. The world's not black and white, people.
No, it's not. And Virgo season brings an energy of like check-in.
Yeah.
Like a check-in with yourself, get ready, be prepared. It's not like a bad energy, but it's like a reset, especially from Leo season, because we have like that big like see me, hear me, look at me versus
Again.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know what's going on with that either.
We're doing divination right now. But yeah, because Leo season's like see me, hear me, look at me, notice me, finer things, joy, versus Virgo season, which is like be ready, think about it, process it, checklist. We don't like that. Is the deck turned upside down?
Oh, it might be. No, it's not. Majority of these are upright.
I don't know. So, happy Virgo season. Listen to our Virgo season playlist. We're going to be talking about entities, and we had a little episode that is fitting to put out for Virgo season, talking about spiritual psychosis, Moldavite, shadow work, all of that. You know, just to re-educate, reacquaint, talk to you guys about it, because it's been on our social media.
You just said spiritual psychosis. I just said the world's not black and white. Is this combination not giving spiritual psychosis?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And black and white thinking?
Yeah. Real time divinating with real time results.
Yeah, no, divination's like, oh, you should talk about this. We have a whole episode out about spiritual psychosis and other trending spiritual topics,
which are hot take, but also like not always right. That's why I'm saying hot take. It's not right.
Yeah.
You gotta keep checking with yourself. Look, go listen to the episode. Everybody's practice is different, but we go really in depth about making sure that you're okay.
Yes, exactly.
And it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly.
But seek help.
Right.
But go listen to our episode that we just, on the spiritual psychosis episode, this constellation episode, transit episode. Look forward to the transits happening. We are currently in retrogrades. When this goes out, we will always be in retrograde for the rest of this year. Just letting you know.
Yeah, one retrograde or another.
And we have an entity episode about some awesome entities. So go listen to that. And we will talk to you later, J9 Army.
Yes, you'll have many opportunities to talk to us in the future.
Yes.
As we have several episodes per month that we put out.
We do. And also, you know, we want to do a giveaway, but we need you guys on our Insta.
Yes, we need you to follow us on Instagram specifically. If you follow us on YouTube or Spotify,
we don't see you.
You're just an analytic.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unless you're commenting, honestly, we don't see you. You can't message on YouTube or Spotify. And even on Spotify, the polls actually only last like 3 or 4 days.
And then they disappear.
So there's no way other than looking in our bio and emailing us.
Right.
Nobody likes email.
Yeah, but you can email us.
Our inbox is open for email. Positive. positive email. All right, so go listen to our episodes we have up. We have quite a catalog, and we will talk to you later.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.